NPTV, news you can trust.
Hello, this is the first part of, I suppose, what you could call the video blog for this trial. We simply didn't get time to do one yesterday, but this is Tuesday the 17th, the evening of the second day of the trial. I'm not going to go in these talks into great detail in what happened in court, because that's on my blog, near the written blog. I've got my computer in court, so the judge is quite happy with that, so in between important bits which you've really got to pay attention to, I'm typing away, and that's where the blog comes from. It's a little bit ungrammatical and unpolished in some places because it's as it's coming, and then if something important legally crops up, I've got to leave it, and so on. So if it's a bit disjointed, I'm sorry about that, but my guess is actually that it may well be the first court blog that's been done in British history. We haven't found one anywhere else. And when my barrister asked the judge yesterday for permission for me to use the laptop, the two security men in the dock, even they didn't know where there was a possible PowerPoint for us to use. So, never been asked before. The judge asked, was there a PowerPoint we could use? So, no one's ever done this before. So, perhaps they've done it somewhere, but we're not sure. So, hope you find the blog interesting. There are some things which we can't report. These won't come out until after the trial. Basically, what happens is, while the jury are in court, that's all open and there's no reporting restrictions. When something occurs, as it happens in any trial, there's nothing bad or sinister about it. When something occurs which is a matter for the lawyers to discuss, then these are done before the jury are called or after they leave at the end of the day, or sometimes they're even sent out. And the things which are discussed at that point without the jury there, they have reporting restrictions imposed on them and we can't talk about them. So there's a number of things which you have to wait until the end of the trial. I can tell you that today was a really good day. We're very pleased with some of the things that came up. The prosecution really had, I suppose, what's one of their main shots. They had their opening statements, as you'll read, and then they showed several of the speeches of mine and Mark's. The jury, watching them, pretty deadpan. There's no one cheering and clapping, and there's no one nodding their head. There's no one shaking their head being disgusted. But the prosecution started off by picking the very most hairy sounding little bits taken out of context. It's a little bit like, I felt anyway, you know when you watch a film, a trailer for a film, an action film or whatever, and there's a couple of really good chases or something like that, and you think, oh, we'll get the film and watch it. And when you see the film, you realise you've seen all the action in it in that little trailer. That's precisely what the jury have had. They've had all the bits which, taken out of context, sound a bit, whew, it was a bit hard. When you put them in the context of the speech, you really don't. So, just as if you pay money to rent a DVD or a video, and then you find that really the film is rubbish and you've watched it all in those clips, I think that's where the jury are now. So, with the way things are going, we're very happy with today indeed. I'd like just to say, as it's the first video blog that we've done, I'd like again to reiterate my thanks to the growing number of nationalists and supporters of free speech, not just in this Britain of ours, but also around the world, who've held demonstrations, Houston, Toronto, Stockholm. Thanks ever so much. I don't know if it has any effect on the British establishment. It has a huge effect on our morale. I'm sure where it's publicised, it has an effect. It tells people in your countries that something's going on. It helps to raise the hit rate, so then people are more educated about what we're talking about. And I suspect that as it rolls out, it does have an effect on what the British state, this very repressive, supposedly liberal regime, will think it can do in the future. Because if they can crush us and repress us behind closed doors, then that's one thing, they'll do it. But if they know that every time they try something like that, more and more people out there are going to get a glimpse of just how totalitarian this liberal, fascist, multicultural monstrosity is, then they'll think twice about doing it. So I think it really is important, and certainly it's fantastically important in here for me and for Mark, for the security we've got there on a day-to-day basis. You know, these people all need the morale keeping up. And these demonstrations around the world, they're doing that. So thank you very much. Those of you who are just watching, I'd ask you to go online, have a look at those as well, and either think what you can do, or go out and tell people about it, or log on to PayPal and send a donation. Do something or other. To be honest, I'd rather have someone go down their pub or bar and tell 20 or 30 local people about what's going on, than a donation. But I'm not the treasurer. So one way or another, everybody can do something to help. I'll, as I said right at the start of this, be doing hopefully one of these monologues every day, which will go up, I suppose, by late evening. So keep an eye on the trial, keep on following it, and well, we'll see what result we're going to get when we get there. Thanks a lot.